All right, Tesla. Q1 earnings missed expectations, so why is the stock up double digits right now? Well, people are kind of enthused, perhaps, that he's going to do a refresh on the models that Tesla sells. So revenue dropped, falling to 21.3 billion. How do you think that compares to Ford EVs or General Motors EVs or anybody else that's selling EVs except BYD out of China, Pete? I'd say it doesn't compare. They're just blowing away the competition. And if all of a sudden they bring out some new models here or refresh the models that are out there, I think that is a reason to buy this one. Here's another. The shorts are being slaughtered. And how do I know that? Well, because today it traded as high as 168. It's only 158 right now. So I think a lot of that $10, Pete, between 158 and 168, that was probably a lot of people who didn't want to cover, but were being forced to cover because they stayed short for too long.
Yep. You don't want to extend that. And I think a lot of folks did, to your point, and that's exactly what we were seeing there. And I think that $10 that you're talking about, that makes a lot of sense. They squeezed them, John, like a good fine wine at Rayhouse. They squeezed them pretty good. You know, when you look at Tesla, you look at the balance sheet and you say, you know what? They can float through some quarters that are going to be bumpy, and it will be bumpy. We all know it's going to be bumpy along the way. We're talking about the EV market that hasn't even really existed for all that long. But, you know, when you look at the deliveries, that was concerning for sure. The earnings, the revenue, the drops that we'd seen, absolutely. I think one other thing that definitely stood out for a lot of people is that he talked about less expensive EVs in 2025. That seemed to be a little bit of a trigger as well, because that's with some of the commentary coming from Musk himself. I think it's interesting to see what those numbers, they look terrible, but we knew they were going to be terrible. We all knew about deliveries being slowing down significantly. We've seen pictures of lots that are filled with EVs, Tesla EVs and so forth. So we get it. We all understand that, but they still, John, this is an incredible company that this isn't the end for them by any stretch. It might be a down period, but certainly today, some of those shorts did probably overstay that welcome.
Yeah, and if you want to know, folks, how right Pete is, I mean, the stock was down 30% in the last 3 months, which is a quarter, of course. It was down 30%. Now, on the rebound today, it's only down 24%. But that's why a lot of folks that feasted on the short positions in there might have overstayed their welcome, to Pete's point.